To find a root, we need to plug a 0 into our y value and solve for y. And we're doing that with a bunch of these, so we'll do a look at a couple of them. 8x squared minus 32. Well, you can move the 32 and take the square root, but it's also a factoring thing. So if I take out an 8, x squared minus 4 will shed some light on this here. That's factorable. Hopefully we're at the point where we can look at that and say, oh yeah, that's the difference of two perfect squares. It's conjugates. X plus 2 and an x minus 2. Keep in mind though, if you moved the 32 over, you would have had an 8x squared equals 32. You divide by 8, and you would have had x squared equals 4. The only risk here is that when you take the square root of both sides, you may forget the plus or minus 2 thing. This one's nice because it's got two answers for each one of them. You look at this, you set it equal to 0, you have a positive 2 and a negative 2. You look at this, if you take the square root of both sides, you get x equals plus or minus 2. Either way, you got two solutions. That's what they are. And you're kind of doing the same thing with all these. You're plugging in 0 for y. Plug in 0 for y, and then you just got to factor. So factor those two numbers. You got a 2x and an x. You can't, I mean, it's a 6 and a 1 or it's something else. It's very likely it's going to be a 2 and a 3 that somehow are going to come together to give you a 7. I'll just show you here. That's a plus 2, that's a plus 3, and I saw that by looking at the outer to get a 4 and an inner to get a 3. You're setting that equal to 0, you have two solutions. X equals 2, you have a negative 2, 0. You subtract the 3 from both sides, and then divide by 2. You end up with a negative 3 over 2, comma 0. Those are your two roots. You know, this one here, all of them, you plug in 0 for y and factor. Plug in 0 for y. I would take out here, I'd take out a 4x. You're left with a 6x plus 5. Set both of those equal to 0. You got one solution is 0, 0. The other one is negative 5 over 6, comma 0. And then, you know, factor on all counts, and your solution should be those accordingly.